Yep.
We're live. Evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're live from Daddy's Pizza in Claremont, New Hampshire. I'm Toby Batchelor alongside George Powers. Is back. Steve Furlan also at the table, and our special guest, Limited Sportsman Champion Scott Vien. Scott, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate you spending some time with us tonight in our Champions conversation. First championship won this year?
Yeah, just this year.
How did it feel? His first one for Louis Rivera, too, as the owner, correct?
Yeah, as far as I know, it was the first one for Louis.
First oval track.
Oval track.
He won a figure eight championship at Claremont back in the 80s with Dave Pratt.
Oh, wow.
You got it.
Did not know that.
He won a championship!
You know, this year, you had a, it was a very competitive season between you and Gary Coburn. You beat him the last night by 6 points. You headed into that last night by 3, and you ended up winning the last night for your championship. What was your thought process going into that last night? Were you just trying to keep him within that one car distance, or
It was like, we better cheat like hell.
Yeah. Was your goal to win the whole thing, win it that night, or?
It was to finish the best I could finish. If I finish first, I finish first. If I finish last, I finish last. Our goal every week was to finish the best we could.
Yep.
So, and we did pretty well, I would say.
Yeah, I would say so too. You were pretty happy in victory lane.
It was a great year. Great year. I'm normally a one-handed driver when the car is very happy, so I drove a lot one-handed this year. So Louis didn't like it, but I was very happy doing it. So.
I want to go over there.
Speak, George.
Right. So, tell me something, Scott. What do you think of everybody thinking of you as a dirty driver?
Dirty? I take a shower every week.
No, just kidding, folks. Got a nickname partway through the season, the Villain, and you liked it.
Yeah.
Do you like to be the man in black? The one everybody's worried about?
Yeah, somebody came up with that. I'm not really sure who. But,
I think it was Steve.
One of the questions. That's actually one of the questions.
Yeah, question from Emily Miller. How did you get the nickname the Villain?
well, I think he came from Mr. Powers, and I kind of liked it and jumped on it and took it, and maybe I'll keep it.
I almost felt guilty saying the Villain Scott Vien all the time because I didn't know if you actually liked it or not. But George kept feeding me from he loves it. Just keep saying it. Just keep saying it. So you're okay with it then?
I'm okay with it. Is what it is. It kind of flowed. So.
Toby, the secret about nicknames at the racetrack is if they don't like the nickname, you say it twice as much.
Noted. I'll take that.
I just worry about the nicknames he gave me, not through the microphone.
Those are all nice.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You had 4 feature wins this year, 2 heat race wins. You had the second best average finish on all the divisions at Claremont Speedway. Your average finish was 2.65, which was a very successful year, which obviously catapulted to the championship. Your worst finish this year was 7th. Just going over some stats here: 16 top 5s, 13 podium finishes. Of those, you had 6 seconds and 3/3. So,
You said he had a 7th?
you had 1 7th.
There was only 5 cars in the division. How did he do that?
I finished behind the record, George.
So the fact you finished every race too helped you out, and that made it that much more competitive going into that last night. Because Gary had 8 heat race wins, but I think he had an 11th going into the season, so that tightened things up quite a bit. And we were watching from that last race, trying to figure out math the whole time, and just it was crazy watching that final race.
And especially the last few laps. You guys swapped the lead and everything. And then, of course, Tyler Janowski get up there in the mix, and he was setting 3rd in points. It made it really interesting. And he actually helped you at the end of the race, when him and Gary got side by side, it gave you a little bit of a cushion. In the mirror, that must have looked really nice.
Except we didn't have mirrors.
What?
No, they took them from us, 4 races to go.
Oh, I thought you had a cheating one that you could put your...
No, it was on the back of my gloves.
Oh!
My hand was hanging, I could see. No, but, yeah, that's the one thing I really didn't realize that was important was the qualifying races, and I think I played them a little too cautious because I wanted the car for the feature. So that's where I think I really went wrong on that the whole season. Otherwise, I think the points would have been a lot better.
But, you know, that's a good learning step right there.
Yeah.
You know, to realize going into the next season, wherever you decide to race, you know, how important those heat races can be.
Yeah, I've finished second in a lot of divisions that I've raced, so.
So it's good to get the monkey off your back.
Yeah, it's good to get the monkey off the back. But points racing is tough. It's, you know, there's a lot of stress. There's a lot of, you know, if you're trying to win a championship, it's a tough way to do it. It really is. So now I know why some guys take 1-2 weeks off, so they're not in the points race.
Louis Rivera has a reputation of putting a pretty good car on the track each week, too.
Yeah, he was really good to me this year. I really didn't have to do a whole lot to the car between him and Alethea. Man, that thing every week was a rocket. It had the potential to win every week. I think I had one bad week where I finished 7th, and I think a sway bar broke that week. So, but it happens. But Louis and Alethea from L&R Customs, I really didn't have to do anything. Pick the car up, bring it to the track, and drive it. So it was quite a thrill to have that for the year.
That's awesome.
What other sponsors helped you last year that got you your championship?
I had Emerson Roofing, which Chris really helped me with a couple bodies. I was very pleased. Every time I asked him for something, he would bend me up a body panel or whatever I needed. And I had myself as Vien Builders. So, you know, it comes from one pocket and it goes to you guys. So it is what it is.
There was a couple times last year when I was interviewing Victory Lane. I think you'd finished 3rd. I gave you a little extra time because you were warm a couple of times coming out of the car about some of the driving. You felt some aggressive driving or whatever, and you wore your emotions on your sleeve, which showed me your passion. Were you disappointed you finished 3rd, or were you disappointed that you could have finished better had it not been some of the banging and? I mean, what was going through your head during those?
That's called bullshit, Tony.
You get disappointed. You want to win every week, but you want to do the best you can, you know, and that's what I wanted. If the car was good, finish the best you can. If somebody's faster than you, let them pass you, you know, pass you clean and go on and finish better than you. But, man, I had a good piece all year long. So not finishing in the top 3 for those few weeks is, you know, it bothered me, but it is what it is. You know, it gives a chance for some of the younger kids to get up there and, you know, get in front of their sponsors and their fans. So, in a way, it wasn't all that bad.
Yep.
Let me ask you, Scott, of everybody you raced against last year, who's your favorite driver to run door handle with if you had one? You know what I mean? Who did you know you could run right there with? And you knew they were going to run you hard, but at least they weren't going to run you dirty.
You know, Gary was probably the guy that I knew that was not going to take me out.
Yep.
I would run side by side with Gary all year long. We wouldn't beat on each other's doors. We wouldn't beat each other's wheels off. The guy's got talent. He's got a fast car. And I was glad to run with him all year. You know, had I finished second, maybe it'd be a different story.
Well, if you had, he'd be sitting here.
Right.
That's right. Yeah. You'd be watching from home.
I enjoy racing with Gary. Gary's a good guy.
Yeah, very competitive.
So now the next question. Who didn't you want to be door handle with for a few laps?
Oh, there's a few guys. But they just had handling issues. It's not that I didn't want to be there. But, you know, if you take a piece out that's got a lot of power, but a lot of bad handling, that's the tough one that you want to try to get side by side with.
Yeah.
So,
Especially on the outside.
especially on the outside. And if sometimes they don't know you're there. So that's the cautious thing. That's why I like passing on the inside. They know you're there.
Any questions yet, Steve?
Emily Miller says, my niece still appreciates you giving me her third place trophy last year.
Last year that I made a point to give away every trophy that I got.
Really?
Yeah, so if I was in top 3, either that night or the next week, I would go to the stands and give it to a kid. I've got a habit of doing that. So not only I get to enjoy something
Yep.
like that, but I get a kid out of the stands that gets to take home a trophy. So that to him or her, that's huge.
So that's how you got fans.
Yes. Anything else?
No, not right now.
All right, send your questions to Scott. We're live right now on Facebook, Daddy's Pizza, 50 Pleasant Street, Claremont, New Hampshire. Can we talk about your plans for next year? Is that off the table tonight, or what you?
No, we can talk about it. Let's talk about it. I'm going NASCAR.
Good luck with that.
That's what I was saying. My next year's plans. I was going to sell the Limited and do something different. But I think I'm going to reskin it. And hopefully Emerson's Roofing will help me out with the
Out of
body.
Springfield, Vermont?
No, he's out of Charlestown.
Charlestown,
New
New Hampshire. Okay.
And
Make sure you get the sponsored all the
that's right, Chris.
603.
And I think I'm going to run Friday nights up to Claremont. It's in the works right now. So either I've got a couple options. I can either drive the car again, or I've also thought about putting a younger kid in the car.
Yep.
So
Somebody like me?
I said younger.
Oh,
The only person younger than you, George, is Jesus. So that's my thought, and that's not off the table yet. So, and then Louis and I are pretty close. So Louis has offered me a ride in a modified at Monadnock Saturday night. So that's still a very open possibility, and I know Louis puts together good pieces. So
still a lot to go on that car, though.
there's still a lot to go on that car, but it's not impossible, and
No,
it's very obtainable. So it's right there.
Now, have you driven an open wheel car before?
I've not driven a modified yet. I've owned one.
Do you relish the idea of it?
I'd like to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's obviously a different kind of racing, but
Yeah,
You know.
there's no beating, no banging, but I think the guys that drive them.
actually that still happens.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
There shouldn't be any.
There shouldn't be.
What's the thought process of having? Are you looking to mentor a young driver up through? Is that?
I don't know if I'm either mentor one or give them the opportunity to do something that they haven't been able to do.
Yep.
So if I've got the car and they've got the ability and the chance, who knows? You know, you never know when you're going to find the next kid that's going to make it big, or it just. I'm the type of guy that likes to give somebody else the opportunity. So.
Well, if you want to give them the opportunity, something they've never done, why don't you take them to a strip club? It only lasts one night and it's a lot cheaper. I mean, a wrecked car can cost a lot of money.
Apparently, you haven't been to a strip club.
No, I haven't.
Because your division itself has a couple of young drivers in it too. With
Oh, good. I thought you were going to say a couple of strippers.
no. Tyler Janowski and Kenny Thompson.
Yeah.
And you've seen the maturity. I mean, Tyler's grown as a driver year after year. And Kenny last year, first year in, and they're even behind the wheel of a car, won a race, and winning the Rookie of the Year. So I guess there is some value to putting someone young behind the wheel of the car and working them through, letting them work out their kinks.
Right. I mean, both those guys just phenomenal behind the wheel. Little Kenny for first year did an amazing job.
Yep.
Tyler, he always runs good. Always has a good piece. So, yeah, I'm on the fence. You know,
Yep.
what I want to do, or who's out there, and if they're ready to jump into a limited. It's most of them are running the front wheel drives, and it's a big change, but
It is. The sad part about it is when you go from the front wheel drive to the rear wheel drive cars, you're not only going to learn how to drive the rear wheel car, but you've got to unlearn everything you learned in the front wheel drive car.
Absolutely.
So it's twice the curve.
it is. And but if I put a young kid in the car, the kid's going to have a good piece. Mm-hmm. It's going to handle.
Do you have anybody in mind?
I don't.
Okay.
I have nobody yet.
Now, you do some race teaching, correct?
You're talking about the adaptive stuff?
Yeah.
I'm the vice president of a nonprofit organization called Adaptive Driving Experience.
How come the people with all the money always call it a non-profit organization?
Well,
Just out of curiosity.
That's where you hide the money.
Oh, okay. All right. I was confused.
No. And what we have is we have a cup car from the Kozlowskis that we bought. And it's adapted for, we say disabled vets or amputees or anybody that's paralyzed. They can actually open the driver's door and the seat pivots, and we transfer somebody in from a wheelchair into that seat and give them the opportunity to go out on a real racetrack and drive, 10 or 12 laps at their own pace, whatever they can handle. And our car actually has 2 seats. I'm the instructor, so I sit on the right side, either myself or I actually can't name some of the other drivers that are in NASCAR that have offered to do this. So,
Yeah, but a couple of them are getting out of jail soon.
yeah, hopefully they get out of here. But I have all the same things on my side as the disabled person has. I have a wheel, I have a brake, I have a gas. The car's automatic, so all I have to do is gas and brake. If they have no legs, we have hand controls with manual push-pull hand controls. We have electronic controls on the door as well. So say they have their own personal car that they drive around that's got hand controls, it's basically the same thing. The Richardson kid that has his adaptive car, we put him in ours at Canaan Fair Speedway, and he went around the racetrack in front of a bunch of fans that night. It was a pretty amazing experience.
Yeah, there's a video on YouTube you can check out from that night that's on there. You can see Scott and Kurt, I believe, is it Kurt? That was,
Yeah.
went around the track, which was pretty interesting watching it from that perspective. I watched the video this week, and I was, just another. It was pretty amazing just watching how you. Are you nervous whenever you turn the controls over? Because you're on the outside.
Yeah, it's a different place to sit, and I'm always nervous because you don't know what the person that's behind the wheel has done. I know Kurt had done some racing prior to it, so I knew he was pretty much safe for me. I've had some pretty scary experiences over there, like when we took the car down to Rockingham, North Carolina, and I had a disabled vet, and I thought we were going to crash that night.
How many tracks have you gone to?
We've been to a lot all over the Northeast, from local tracks from Canaan to White Mountain to Rockingham, North Carolina. We did a video shoot with Speed TV with Shane Hamill, where he got paralyzed in a dirt car accident. And we put him back in a race car for the first time at Rockingham Motor Speedway. And I think there's like a half an hour video of that. If you ever want to see that, it's on YouTube. Just Google Shane Hamill back in a race car. It was pretty amazing. We had him and 2 disabled vets that it's an emotional experience. Something I'd like to do full time. There's 2 of us driving this force now, Danny and myself, and we're trying to build a brand new car. Going out, getting donations, asking people for money. We go to PRI, which is the world's largest racing convention out in Indy every year, and we beg, can you help us? Can you help us? And last year, I'm going to guess we probably got $35,000 worth of stuff.
Wow,
That's great.
From like Pace Racing Engines to give us a brand new crate motor. LaJoy gave us a huge discount on seats. Just everything from every little part that you can imagine goes on a race car. They've given to us, and I can't thank them enough for it. It's huge for our organization.
It's got to feel really great inside to do that. I mean, when you see that get their smile on their face and, able to do that, it's going to make you feel really good inside to be able to help them.
Yeah, it's huge because it's something that they never figured that they could ever do. There's a lot of other driving experiences out there, but none that provide an opportunity for a disabled vet or anybody that's handicapped or anybody that's paralyzed. You really can't even do a ride along with somebody that's paralyzed. So, we take somebody that's paralyzed from the chest down and put them in a race car, and they physically get to drive that race car.
wow.
And after their 8 or 10 laps or 10 or 12 laps that they're comfortable with doing, I tell them let go of the controls, and then I take over and I give them 8 or 10 hot laps. So, I've never seen anybody climb out with a frown. Maybe a little scared, but never a frown. And like I said, we've had some pretty high up names from NASCAR. I can't really say them yet because it hasn't happened yet. That would offer to guest drive.
Wow.
So if you get a disabled vet or somebody climbing into a car, they never know if they're going to have somebody that drives NASCAR sitting beside them. They never know. So we try to keep that a secret for now.
Yep.
But those guys have graciously enough, like every cup race here, they take us down the track and we watch the races or whatever from the top of their haulers, and it's been a pretty amazing experience. The farthest we've gone is Texas Motor Speedway, so that was quite a trip. Mike Olson hauled the car from North Haverhill all the way down to Texas. I jumped in a plane and I flew down. So
No part of that.
It wasn't too bad for me, but it's a pretty amazing experience. They had a disabled vets weekend down there, which they did everything from hog hunting from a helicopter with a machine gun to bow fishing, and driving race cars. So it was a pretty amazing experience.
Yep.
Everything that they do, you can't thank them enough. So.
I got a question for you, Scott.
Shoot.
How did you get started in racing? I mean,
How did I get started in racing? Well, as a young teenager, maybe it wasn't even a teenager, probably 11 or 12, I used to jump in the back of...
a chariot?
Nope. In the back of a pickup from some of the guys from Mad River Racing that drove at the Pine Speedway, Butch Clogston, Butch Burbank, the Hines, Gary Dunstan, all those guys, they all lived within a half mile of each other. So, you want to go to a race, you jump in the back of the truck and off you go. I can't tell the track owner, but some of us used to lay in the back of the truck so we wouldn't have to pay to get in. As a kid, that was a great experience. And then
Burbank and Clogston, that's some pretty good names.
yeah, those guys were really good, and all I had to do was haul tires with them, and that's basically how I got started. And then
From the first time you went, did you want to be a race car driver?
I've always wanted to drive, but from the early years, and then one of my really good friends, Richard Brown from RSB Chassis.
RSB Chassis, Canaan, New Hampshire. Oh,
Wentworth.
Wentworth, that's right.
So I would
Outside of Rumble.
I would hang out with them almost every night. Just it's race car, and then Richard got me my first opportunity to drive a race car in a mini cup car,
Oh, no kidding.
which is a half scale car.
Yep.
So
What age? How old were you?
oh god, you had to ask that.
45.
No, I had to have been close to 40.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
no kidding.
Oh yeah, I've always pitted for everybody until around 40, and no, it's probably earlier than that. It's probably 37, something like that. But
Oh, no, I thought you were going to say like 21 or 20.
so they used to pick on me because when you get in a half-scale car, your feet are at the front bumper, and they used, every time I'd get in victory lane, they'd say, "Okay, bring out the grease and the shoehorn to get this guy out of the car." So, and I tell you, but that was probably the most fun racing I've ever had. And because the bump drafting you could do, and it was a lot of fun. And then from there, I just progressed up, into the Strictly's mini cup. I won rookie champion. Strictly the next year, I won a bunch of races. I won rookie again, and then up the Super
And that was at
Street.
Legion?
No, that was at White Mountain Motorsports Park.
Oh, okay.
So everything I've done has been on asphalt.
So what tracks have you raced at then? White Mountain,
What tracks haven't I
Canaan,
raced at?
Monadnock, Claremont.
Yep. Groveton, Lee.
Devil's Bowl.
I've never raced Devil's Bowl.
Star?
Star. There's probably a handful I haven't raced. So, but to me, I don't care what track it is. I'm going to go out and race as hard as I can.
Anything from the fans?
Nope.
Did I see someone offer to drive? Oh, Jeff White said he'll drive your car if you wanted to. Send your questions in, folks. Ryan Courier, thank you for joining. Just saw you locked in, still waiting for your registration this year, my friend. The adaptive
I
racing.
turned the label around so they'll think it's root beer.
What the adaptive racing thing? Have you thought about bringing that to Claremont for a night?
I really would like to. That's something that I've got to discuss with the owners and make sure that it's something that they want to do too.
Yep.
Right now, we're trying to put it all together, and L&R Customs, Louis Rivera is helping me. We just got the brand new crate motor in. And then once we get these parts in that we have, what I'll do is I'll take the car down to our partners at in New Jersey, and he does all the adaptive stuff. He's got he converts vans and cars over so our disabled vets or our handicapped people have something to drive on a daily basis. So basically, he'll do all the hand controls at Drive Master in New Jersey. So once that's done, then we're ready to go.
Yep.
I mean, in this car, we've got top of the line stuff from fire suppression systems to the whole 9 yards. So whoever's driving the car is safe. I'm excited. So my hands are going to be full this year.
Yes, they are.
Sure sounds that.
Yes, they are.
So you got no urge to try to come back and defend the championship, huh?
I didn't say that.
I'll tell you, from a selfish point of view, George and I would love to have you back because some of the conversations that George and I have when I go down to interview you are priceless. It's like George will say, ask him this or ask him that. And then there's a couple times I've done it, and then you glare up
There's a
at
couple
him.
times he didn't.
Yeah, there's a couple things I wisely did not because I wanted to keep my job.
there's probably a good chance that I'm probably going to be back in it. A couple changes I want to make to it. Not major changes,
Yep.
but
You're not gonna take out that late model motor, are you?
no.
Okay.
Why would I do that?
Still going to keep the decal on the car,
Which one?
the villain?
I think we'll make it a little bit bigger this year.
I think that's a good idea. Right all across the hood, maybe.
I like it.
Yeah. I was going to put that on the post when we did the Facebook post. I was going to put Scott the Villain Vien, but I didn't. Like I said, I didn't know if you liked it. I should have consulted George
Yeah.
first, because George was said,
I
"Do
just
it."
said put it in capital letters.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me at all. Not at all.
Yeah, I would have said do that and then put Mike Close's picture beside it, My buddy Mike, I hope he's coming back this year.
Yeah, he hasn't registered yet. I mean, the division right now is a little light on numbers right now. There's a bunch of drivers out there that have not registered that we know that are coming back. So looking forward to having that. I know Josh Rules expressed some interest in coming back and racing. There's been some other names that have been kicked around we were talking about earlier tonight. So it still looks to be a very, very competitive, Limited Sportsman looks to be a competitive division again next year. I mean, we were lucky last year. 3 of our 4 divisions came down the last night to decide the champions, and yours was the closest one, the closest one of the bunch. It was crazy. It was crazy, and it was nuts in the announcers booth the way we were.
It was. For us, it was an awesome season.
Yeah, it was.
When you were out there, I mean, running with Gary for that championship, and it was so tight and everything, we didn't feel any pressure at all.
I was just worried which questions I was going to ask.
Only pressure you probably felt was when you had to poop.
That's right.
Hey, these if in case you haven't figured out, these two have a great relationship. They've known each other for years. George gets on Scott pretty good. How far back is your relationship gone? The two of you.
We just met this year.
You become best of friends then.
At the Christmas party,
Yeah.
with Santa.
Oh, God, it goes back to the older Canaan days.
Yeah, back into Canaan. Fun track to run.
Yes.
It's just memories.
Was.
Now. Memories now. That's it.
What is your favorite track that you've driven at?
Oh, I honestly don't have a favorite.
Why is Claremont different? I mean, what's challenging about Claremont?
Claremont's different because every turn is completely different. I mean, just you have to, your mind has to be, okay, I'm going into 3, coming out of 4, going into 1, 2. It's just completely different track. It's, every entrance is different, between 1 and 3, and then coming out is completely different. So Claremont's so different. Monadnock's different. 1 and 2 is completely different than 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is it easier to drive a track like White Mountain where it's symmetrical all the way around? I mean, makes it harder to pass when everybody has that same groove, though, right?
I liked White Mountain, but I like the outside and when I race there. And that's where I would pass, is outside. But it doesn't, to me, a symmetrical track doesn't keep my head in the game as much as something that's completely different. You know what I mean? Like an egg-shaped track or 1 and 2 that's banked a lot higher than 3 and 4. Something that's banked like that, you can throw anything in. And it's
Claremont
gonna,
definitely gives you that challenge. You hear the old saying of, he's up on the wheel now, and that's Claremont.
Yep.
You're up on the wheel all
Yep.
the time because of the difference.
Yep.
Yes, I mean, you watch the drivers that come in there for the first time. It takes them a little bit to figure out how to run that.
Oh yeah, well they look at 1 and 2 and it scares them. But they don't realize till they get out on the track that they come into 4 and all of a sudden it's a 90-degree turn. It looks like just a big round turn up there, but turn 4 is actually the sharpest turn on the racetrack.
It is.
I mean 1 and 2 you can go in, let the car settle at the apex and drive it out. But that doesn't work with 3 and 4.
What's the worst wreck you ever had?
Oh, boy.
I think I saw pictures of
You had to
one.
go there, huh?
I just wanted to ask, might as well get it out of the way.
I ran Oktoberfest one year, Crash Fest, and and some young kid put me up into the fence coming out of 2 and actually took out part of the waste management sign, which was, I don't know, 4 feet up. How the car didn't roll, I don't know. I have no idea, but it totaled the car. I got knocked out. I just remember coming through with EMTs at the window and me wanting to kill a kid. Yeah, that was probably the worst wreck. The next one was probably Groveton, where I blew a right front tire and right up over the bank turn into the tire wall. So both needed front clips. But Lee was probably a tough one. That was a really tough wreck.
Yeah, it's a momentum track, so no matter what, you got speed going on.
And you had the off season. That was probably your last race of the year, obviously, it's Oktoberfest. And so you'd have between that and the start of the next season to think of that's so yeah. It took a little while to get back on the bike then.
My thought process was not to race again
Yeah.
on Oktoberfest. So, that's a tough one.
Then after you go through that, you go through the revenge factor,
Yeah,
right?
you do.
I'm going to find this kid. I'm coming back.
Is he still racing?
Oh, I don't know. I have no
I'm
idea.
just curious if you kept a little.
He doesn't even know who he
notepad.
was.
Oh.
I had a few words with him, and that's about it. And,
He
Done
races
and over.
under a different name now.
that's right. That's right.
When he sees the 5 pull in, he goes incognito.
He's coming to Claremont this year.
I mean, you're gonna, if you run the modified for Louis this year, is your thought process possibly to go to a tour type mod and then?
No, it's a sportsman.
Yes, but I'm saying from the sportsman, then go to tour type. Or you're looking at possibly going pro stock. Is there a progression for you, or are you just happy?
You give me a golf cart with wheels, and I'll race it. Doesn't matter.
Well, we could schedule that with you and Jim next year.
Deal. As long as I'm having fun, it doesn't matter what I'm behind. But those big motor mods are just so much money. So much money. It's hard to have fun unless you have a lot of good sponsors. So that's what we're still looking for, is good sponsors, and there's plenty of rooms on either car. Or if you want to help with the adaptive stuff, you can go on
And what's the name of the adaptive company again?
Adaptive Driving Experience, and you can
And they can find out by going adaptivedriving.com.
adaptivedrivingexperience.org.
.org.
Or you can like us on Facebook, and we have Twitter. I know Danny hates to do his tweets, but sometimes it's part of it. And, if anybody who wants to help out, we'd be more than happy to take your money.
Well, you can sponsor a championship driver here too.
Yeah, you could do that too.
It's going to go to a good cause.
Yeah, it's.
Danny's online right now, so yeah,
great.
he's watching you. So you make sure you're.
Let's see what his comment is.
You just tell
So
me
he
you
wants
get the
you to do
website plug.
striptease on the table.
Just skip away.
Yep. So, it's been an honor for me this year, my first year watching you race. As we talked about, it was a great season. The Limited Sportsman coming right down to the wire. And hopefully, the selfish part of me hopes we get to see you again at Claremont.
I'm pretty
behind
sure,
the wheel.
I'm pretty sure you'll see me. Most people wonder why I'm waving, but I'm not actually waving. Just driving one-handed. That's all.
Yep. Yeah, you do look pretty
I'm
relaxed.
comfortable, so.
Yeah. When that happens, you're all set.
Yeah. He doesn't like me doing it, but it's I don't oversteer or nothing, so I like it that way.
Good.
Hey, whatever works, I mean,
Yeah.
if that's the way you're comfortable, that's the way it's got to be.
There's a few drivers out there drive one-handed.
Oh, yeah. Yep, there's been quite a few of them over the years.
If you could race against anyone, who would it be?
Me.
I figured you guys had raced against each other.
You ever driven?
Yeah.
What?
Are you serious?
Yes.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah, I
didn't
drive
know
my
that.
old lady crazy.
Okay. I think we need to get a couple go-karts for infield for
You want me to bring a couple up?
for intermission or something.
All right.
Me beating you around that track.
Yeah, not a problem. Mine's going to have a motor.
Oh, it is? Not gonna be a Flintstone mobile?
No, yours is.
That's the only chance you have.
No, so, but thank you very much, and congratulations on your championship. It was an awesome year for you.
Thank you for having me.
Folks, thank you very much.
Thanks, Scott.
I'm Toby Batchelder, Steve Furlan, George Powers. Kevin Furlan's taping us right now. Scott Vien, our 2016 Limited Sportsman Champion. He will be back this year. Write it down in pen. He's going to be back. Thank you to Daddy's Pizza for hosting us tonight. We're back here next Tuesday night, 6 o'clock. And yes, we have the best looking guy here, Scott Vien, as well. He wrote it on my notes. We're back here Tuesday. I'll announce tomorrow who our guests are. You're going to be surprised. We have a panel full of drivers. So check Facebook tomorrow and enjoy the rest of your evening. Opening night, April 28th. Thank you very much.
Good job, gentlemen.
5 minutes? How long was that?
About that long.
You wish. Spit it out. It's not yours.
Just don't hit cancel.
No, we're still on.
Oh, there.
Still going?
Yeah.
Leave my light.